When you look for a bank, choose a partner with local expertise and local decision-making. Veritex Community Bank offers solutions and a true business ally. We look forward to building your future. We're Veritex Community Bank, true to your business, true to Texas.
What's going on, Magic family, Magic and Beatbox family, everybody up in Dallas, down right here in Houston. Welcome to the final Summer School Sessions presented by Veritex Community Bank. I'm your host, KG Smooth, the Magic 102.1 here in Houston, Texas. And, this is the last summer school. Class will be over. Summer school will be over after this one. So we want to thank you for tuning in. Absolutely want to thank Veritex Community Bank for setting this up and providing the incredible panelists with every week that we have been on here. Week one, we gave you the deal on how to build your credit. The next week, we talked about you buying a new home. Last week, we talked about women in business. And today, it is all about our small businesses. So if you missed any of the previous 3 summer school sessions, you can go to Magic 102.1's Facebook and YouTube, as well as 97.9 The Box's Facebook and YouTube, and Magic 94.5 in Dallas, their Facebook and YouTube, and 97.9 The Beat in Dallas is their Facebook and YouTube as well. So the information is still going to be there. All right, so let's get into today and talk to our panelists that will be joining us as we focus on going in on building small businesses. Up first is Erica Hearst. She is the AVP and SBA lender at Veritex Community Bank. Welcome to summer school.
Thank you so much, KG, for having me. It is a blast already, and we haven't even started. I'm so excited.
Well, good. I'm glad I'm bringing the energy. Next, who is going to join us? She is the managing director for Texas True Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, LaShonda Pickett-Renee.
Hi, KG. Thanks so much for having us. We're very excited.
Oh, I'm excited for you all to be here because people are excited. A lot of people are starting businesses. And last but certainly not least, Miss Susan Dick, the certified mentor at SCORE in Fort Worth. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, ladies, if you could just tell us about yourself and what you do. Just introduce yourself to the audience real quick. We'll start with you first, Erica.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, a lot of people would be surprised to know that my background is not in banking. My background is actually from a CDFI, so similar to LaShondra. I was there for 8 years, and my last position there was regional lending manager. And I really missed being with the business owners directly. And I had a partnership with Veritex for many years, and we referred deals back and forth. So it was just a really magic partnership for me to be able to come over here and work directly with the business owners themselves.
Nice. LaShonda, give us the skinny on you.
Well, the skinny on me is actually similar to Erica. All of my experience isn't necessarily in banking either, but I am with a CDFI. And very excited to share a bit about how we can support and kind of fill that gap between banking and the needs of small business owners. For the last 18 years or so, I've been working in community development, policy and resource development, supporting communities. And I'm just excited to hear from my colleagues on the line and also those in the audience.
Indeed. And Susan with SCORE. I see that that's capitalized, so I'm sure you'll tell us what SCORE stands for.
I will. As for my background, I've worked in the human resources field for a lot of years, and currently I have an HR consulting practice, which makes me a small business owner like a lot of the people that are on the line today. For the past 5 years, I've used my HR and small business background to serve as a SCORE mentor with Fort Worth chapter of SCORE. I mentor small business owners on employment and general business matters. And as for what SCORE means, it's not really an acronym anymore. It's more of a target.
Okay. Suzanne, thank you so much. Well, ladies, here here we are to give the skinny and go in on small businesses, which really is all the rave right now. I mean, I know a lot of people personally who have started their own business just within the last year, just like with the start of the pandemic. So, we have a lot of baby booming small businesses. So let's talk about that relationship between the small business owner and the bank, specifically Veritex Community Bank.
Yes, I would love to talk about that. So really, what Veritex is here for is we are a community bank for the community, and especially those business owned, I'm sorry, especially those businesses that are just starting. This pandemic that happened, nobody was ready for it. And so a lot of people, we were just talking before this, have had a hustle that they've been thinking about starting for a really long time. And they just now have gotten the opportunity to do that. And so Veritex is here to give you the resources that you need, not only in business banking, but we're here to connect with partners like TrueFund and Score and to bring these sessions here. And that's what we're all about. It's just to answer any questions that you might have and to bring the information to the business owners.
Indeed. A question that a lot of small business owners have and may be confused about is, if I own a business, am I the CEO? Am I the founder? Am I the president? Am I, some other title? What should they be classified as that business owner?
Suzanne, I think that would be a question for you, because I would always refer people to Score with that question.
When you're the owner of the business, you can be whatever you want to be. That's the beauty of it. A lot of people say founder and CEO, combine it, but really it's whatever you think is best.
Wow. Okay. All right. So what about, are there any deadlines? Because, a lot of things are coming down. A lot of things are happening. Are there any deadlines that new business owners should be aware of within these next 6 months, let's say, that they should know about in order to avoid any sort of financial penalties, or just a little bump in the road to them getting their business started or maintaining it?
I can't think of anything to get their business started, but I know that one thing that I can think of that's coming up is in the SBA loan realm. There is a special incentive that the SBA has came up with that is associated with the CARES Act, that when you apply for an SBA loan, at the end of September 30th, they are no longer going to be waiving the SBA guarantee fees and also paying your first 3 payments for you. So that's one thing that I can think of off the top of my head. Suzanne or LaShondra, can you think of anything that is not outside of the loan area?
Yeah, I would just say that thinking about like filing your taxes and making sure that you've updated your registration with the Secretary of State, which just are important generally, right? That they're always in good standing when they're thinking about potentially accessing capital and or any other thing that they may need to do, like opening their bank account and making sure that they have proper documentation in place.
That's a great point.
And Erica, go ahead and talk about SBA financing. Like, what is SBA financing?
Thank you for mentioning that, because a lot of people don't really know what SBA is, or they might after PPP came out. I think that really helped us when PPP came out. know what SBA is, but I'll be happy to go over that for you. So the SBA is just a government guaranteed loan program. And this is if you don't qualify for a traditional loan at a bank. And a traditional loan at a bank is when you walk into a bank and say, hey, I need a line of credit or I need a loan and I have collateral for that loan. And the bank may say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify because maybe you're too early in your business, you don't have enough cash flow, or you don't have collateral. And so the government has come up with this program, and it is paid for by tax money. And they will guarantee a portion of your loan. And this is usually 75 to 85%. Right now, it's 90%, and that's through September 30th. So again, let me mention that deadline to you, September 30th. So does it mean you can apply by September 30th? No, you have to get your stuff in now and get approved by September 30th. So that's something that I didn't mention before, which I should have. So excuse me for that. The uses can be any business related purpose. So it can't be a personal loan. They don't do nonprofits. It has to be a business related loan. But you can use it for anything. You can use it for working capital. You can use it to buy real estate. You can use it to buy equipment. You can even do debt refinance, which is one of my favorite loans to do. So if you wanted to refinance business debt, maybe you have a bunch of business credit cards out there, you have a bunch of loans that are high in debt, let's refinance those and do an SBA loan. That's a great way to get a low payment and save you in cash flow. What are some best practices to be able to qualify for the SBA loan? So let's talk about that. You do really have to have not necessarily a good score, because the score isn't what's going to hinder you. It's what's on your credit report that is what we're going to dig into deeper. And that you don't want to have any derogatory items on there. So derogatory items are, let's say you have a collection from last year. We would want you to pay that and give us an explanation. Maybe you can do a settlement offer, something like that. Also, if you have a strong business plan, if you're an existing business, we don't necessarily need a business plan. Maybe you can do a couple of years projection on how the SBA loan is going to help you. Excuse me. Let's also be ready to provide documentation. The SBA loan is known for its documentation. So I'm very, very sorry for this in advance for all the documents that I ask for. It's not me being mean. It is something that the SBA requires. But just be known that we're going to ask you for everything about you. And this is an SBA requirement. But the SBA is a great resource for small businesses.
Indeed. LaShonda, let's talk about True Fund. What programs are available at True Fund?
Yeah, so I'd love to talk about True Fund. So first, I just want to level set, right? So we mentioned CDFIs, and I want to make sure that everybody's clear about what a CDFI is. We are a community development financial institution, which makes us an alternative lender to a banking institution. It also makes us mission driven. It also makes us nonprofit and really focused on supporting entrepreneurs and business owners that aren't able to access capital through traditional banking means. So they may not yet be ready to talk to my friend Erica at Veritex, but maybe they can spend some time with us over here at True Fund talking about what their capital need is now and what their capital need is in the future. And we can help them understand how to make their way from where they are to where they need to be in terms of their immediate capital need. And then, of course, their future capital need when we work with them to become more bankable and send us on to great banking partners like Veritex. So for us, as a CDFI True Fund, we are focused on serving BIPOC entrepreneurs. And so that's Black, Indigenous, and people of color, as well as businesses that are focused in low and moderate income communities and low wealth communities. So again, really very focused and targeted. And it makes our mission really centered in terms of what we do, and really focusing in terms of our outreach. We say that our doors are open to everyone, but our outreach and our focus is really specific to those businesses that we are mission to serve. We're also certified by the U.S. Treasury. We're not FDIC regulated nor certified as our banking partners are. And so that allows us to have a level of flexibility in how we can make decisions on loans, how we can structure them, and who we can lend to and when we can lend to them. So we like to fill that gap in between traditional banking institutions and other forms of capital that tend to be really high cost and sometimes predatory. You can see on the screen that we have quite a few products that are available. We've got everything from the smaller size loans under $50,000 all the way up to very large loans that include commercial real estate. And then really everything in between. But our sort of bread and butter and our sweet spot is that small business, traditional small business lending space of $50,000 up to $350,000. That's where we do most of our lending. And we also tend to do that lending focused on businesses that are in business or that have been in business at least a year or so. We have a really strong track record working with contractors. And so we use contractor a little bit differently than some of our counterparts in the industry, because again, we're looking at it being more inclusive. So if businesses are able to generate revenue with government contracts, we consider them a contractor, even if they're not necessarily in construction. And there are a few things that you can see on the screen really just speak to our impact. We are impact leaders. We are always focused on how we can develop the community, how we can grow wealth, and how really we can be a resource and add value to the communities that we serve. So you can see that 74% of our lending has been to minority and women-owned businesses, and 53% of our lending has been to LMI businesses. And job creation is it. So 15,000 jobs have been created from the lending that we've done, and we're very, very proud of that work.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. So this is a great time to smooth on in right to Suzanne to talk about SCORE. Not a lot of people know about SCORE and who you are and the free services and workshops that you all offer. Could you please educate the people on SCORE and everything that you do?
I would be so happy to do that. You're right, we're not as well known as we would love to be, although we did mentor last year close to 1,500 small business owners. So we're out there doing our work. We're actually the nation's largest network of volunteer expert mentors. We have over 10,000 volunteers nationally. And there's a SCORE chapter serving nearly every major city and a lot of the smaller ones. Our volunteers are executives, business owners, and people really from all different industries with different skills and experience to share. So that lets us really serve our clients better. SCORE's been around a long time. We've been around since 1964. We are a resource partner of the Small Business Administration, and we're funded in part by them. Like the SBA, we work with small businesses to help them succeed. In fact, our mission is to foster a vibrant small business community through mentoring and education. So you'll see some of our services listed on the screen. First, we offer free mentoring one-on-one, and I'll emphasize the word free. Since we're a volunteer organization, we don't charge for our mentoring services. Some examples of the things we help with are business plans, growth strategies, marketing, employment, really just about any business need. The second thing we offer is the free tools and templates that are on our website. Anyone can access them at score.org. For example, there are templates to help people create a business plan, a cash flow statement, profit and loss statements. There's a template on our website for pretty much any document that's needed to start or run a business. We also have articles and free recorded webinars and other resources on site. Then the last thing that I'll mention, although we do a few other things, is our low-cost local workshops on business topics. Some of the workshops we have coming up are social media marketing, Google Analytics, and grant writing. I did a workshop recently on hiring employees in a competitive environment, and Veritex Bank sends people over now and then to do workshops with us in partnership with. SCORE can help small business clients, whether they have an established business or just a business idea. We cover the full spectrum. And as I said, most of our services are free. So that's a little bit about SCORE and what we do.
Indeed, indeed. We've got some questions from the comments on Facebook and YouTube. So let's see what the people are asking about. What resources are available through Veritex for small business owners? Business credit cards, etc.
Wonderful. I'm so glad that you asked that. I did have an example of a gentleman that came in and that he was a new business owner. He didn't qualify for a loan that we had, but we did have a Business Premier credit card that it's a simple application. You can find it on our website. And we were able to give him that credit card. He was approved, and that was able to cash flow exactly what he needed for the contract. Wow. And so that's something that we do have available. Also, we have a great women's program, women in banking program that I wanted to mention. That's also another resource that we have for our small business owners.
Indeed. Another question from the comments. How do you secure loans or grants through banks to fund your small business?
Well, we are going to be talking about that in a little bit. We're going to talk about the 5 C's of credit. And so I'm going to go through everything you need to know.
All right. So hold on for that. Let's go to, well, this is for both you, LaShonda and Erica. You know, how earlier I talked about how a lot of small businesses began during the pandemic. People, saw a need and created a means for that need. So now, if your business is recovering from the pandemic, but the PPP or the PPE program has ended, what other options are available?
Sure, yeah. I wanted to give LaShonda the option to talk about grants for a moment. I'm sure that they have grants listed on their website. I was wondering if you had a grant resource page or something like that you could talk about for a moment.
Well, TrueFund, we focus on small business lending, so we don't necessarily have grants that we provide. Mm-hmm. However, from time to time, we do administer grant programs for some of our municipalities and government entities, et cetera. So what I failed to mention is that we are New York based, but we also serve businesses in Texas, Louisiana, and Alabama. And in an auxiliary way through our New York offices and Alabama offices, we serve Georgia businesses and New Jersey businesses. And so we have partners across the country that we've worked with to deploy grant capital. So that's certainly a part of what we've done. In fact, disaster recovery, business resiliency is really a core pillar of the work that we do. But typically what we end up doing is referring our clients to different resources that we find. So all the time, our partners are sharing information with us. Sometimes we are the administrators of a small business grant program, or there just may be something that our staff has run across and we're saying, hey, this is a resource for our small businesses. And so, yes, we provide a service directly, but we also understand that we are part of a larger ecosystem. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, the clients get the access to the capital and resources that they need. We also do provide business education. So I really only focused on the lending component, but we also do business education. And so we have a program that is specifically structured to help businesses to really understand what business resiliency means, right? So that's been sort of like jargon these days, right? Business resiliency, all of these different terms are just kind of being thrown out there, and people are overwhelmed. And so we have a space for them to come and enjoy peer-to-peer learning, have access to subject matter experts, and to really get support around what does this new normal of business look like for them and their individual businesses, and what are some of the actions and strategies that they want to implement. And so it's the combination of like connecting to the grant opportunities that are out there. They're not quite as numerous as they were at sort of the height of the pandemic, but they're still out there. We continue to send them out via our newsletters and just our regular communication. And then, of course, we want to make sure that our businesses and our clients have access to that business education.
And to underscore all that you just said, Suzanne, with SCORES, are these upcoming workshops and everything, are they virtual?
They're virtual right now. We think, we're obviously, we're not sure when we're going to be able to go back to in-person workshops, but right now everything is virtual. So it's really easy to attend one of our workshops. And if you sign up for one and you can't be there, we will later send you the link so that you can watch it when you have the time.
Indeed. Let's go back to Erica and talk about these 5 C's of credit. We have a slide for you. I didn't know that there were so many C's in credit.
Right.
Let's go through them.
Okay. All right.
Credit.
Well, to answer your question earlier about the PPP and what is available. So I wanted LaShondra to mention about those grants. There are some grants still available, not as many as before. So go sign up for her newsletter so that you get notification of those. But there are also loans available. And I mentioned earlier the SBA loan, but also all other types of loans. You have to know how to qualify for those loans. And the most basic way to know is for me to tell you about the 5 C's of credit. This breaks it down. So first of all is capacity. Do you have the cash flow to be able to pay for that loan? And this doesn't matter whether you are a startup business or an existing business. If you're a startup business, we are going to look at your outside sources of income. So if you quit your job, do you have someone that you can bring on as a co-borrower that has a job to pay for that loan? If you don't, you better have some really good projections that we can base that cash flow off of. And if you don't know what projections are, contact Susan at SCORE. So if you're an existing business, then we're going to take your last 3 tax returns. And I realized that 2020 was a bad year for some businesses. So here's the good news. We're not looking at 2020 just by itself. We're looking at 2019 and we're looking at 2018 and we're saying, okay, were those good years? And then we're taking 2021 into effect and we're saying, okay, have you bounced back?
So kind of putting 2020 on a curve, kind of grading it on a curve.
Exactly. So we're realistic. We're not mean people. Right? So if you're an existing business and that has happened to you, there is good news. So capital, how much do you need? Does it make sense? Can you afford that much? That's easy. The next, and let me say this about capital, do a breakdown use of funds. Don't call and just say, however much I can qualify for, because that's not the right answer to any banker that you call. Okay. The next is collateral. Now, if you are talking about an SBA loan, you don't necessarily have to have collateral that matches the loan amount, but a non-SBA loan, you need collateral. And sometimes you need collateral that's over the loan amount. And take into account that when you're talking about collateral, a piece of real estate, you get an appraisal, you know what it's worth. But if you're using equipment, it is devalued a bunch by the time you know what it's worth. It's worth about probably 50% of what you paid for it. So take that into account as well when you're getting a non-SBA loan. Let's go to character. Character is a lot to do with your personal credit score. If you're an existing business, yes, they will look at your business credit, but they're also always going to take your personal credit into account. So just always keep this in mind. Conditions. Conditions can be a lot of things. It can be the interest rate right now. It can be the economy. It can be what you're using your loan for. So it really can take this and put a lot of different factors into this. So this is your basic form of saying, hey, do I qualify for this loan?
Wow. That's really, that's insightful to know that this is how you all thinking that. So I hope the people were screenshotting. Let's go to the comments. Really good information. I'm definitely ready to launch my business, but I need funding to do so. I really want to get out of the catch-22 with needing business credit, but needing capital to build business credit. I don't know
totally
if that
understand.
was a statement or a question.
Well, I do understand that you definitely need that. And that's when I was talking about if you don't have anyone to co-sign for you and you don't have a job yourself, then come up with some really good projections. And if your business makes sense, then maybe we could talk about it.
LaShonda, are there any resources, business owners to connect with other business owners for, advice or some sort of collaboration?
Yeah, absolutely. So the key word that, since we're in summer school, I figured I'd bring a few key words, a few vocabulary words, right?
Okay.
So our main vocabulary word for today is access, right? And so that is what we do as a CDFI. We have access to community. So the businesses that are looking for support, they have access to this broad ecosystem and our internal business education cohort, peer-to-peer learning, which really gives entrepreneurs an opportunity to really connect with other business owners, to learn about some key fundamental elements of business. They may have been in business for some time. They may be a perpetual startup. They may be in growth phase. They may be really just trying to figure it all out. And they can attend a variety of different programming that we have to really be able to get a sense of what they want to focus on in this, say, next 6 to 12 months as they're really thinking about how they want to operate in this new normal. So that access is key, access to that community. Some of the research that we've seen is that isolation is a huge barrier for small businesses, in particular during the pandemic, right? People have been feeling just really alone in this. And there is a whole huge community of entrepreneurs out there, right? So you join our small group programming where you're able to network with other small businesses and entrepreneurs with your community and beyond. We do have a regional approach to being able to offer some of our programming. So you have the opportunity to meet businesses in Texas, not just Houston and Dallas or Austin, but also in Louisiana, in Georgia, in New York. And so that's a great way to really build your confidence. It's a really great way to build your understanding of what's possible, and also to really build your own capacity in terms of understanding. The other piece would be access to individualized support. So we do offer business advisory services on a one-to-one basis for small businesses who participate in our programming and or that are borrowers of ours. And so that can be really specific, like helping to have support on creating a business action plan or business resiliency action plan, And so that is where we spend time with individual business owners and really talk about where they are in their business. We help them to really connect to some of the principles that they've learned in our small group cohort learning, and then how to apply that to their specific business through planning that is strategic, that is specific and simple and actionable. And then at that point, they really can have a sense of how to sort of break down some of these larger things that we think are kind of just like impossible, or we just have so much to kind of focus on right now, and helps people take a little bite-sized chew of the elephant. And so at the end of the 6 months or the 12 months or the 24 months, they've really seen themselves make progress and they didn't even realize it. We are able to do that with our staff. And we also have subject matter experts that we engage to offer that support. And then access to capital is the big thing, right? So businesses that have been impacted by the pandemic, we are a part of SOAR, the Southern Opportunity and Resiliency Loan Fund. And so that is a wonderful opportunity for businesses that have been impacted by COVID to get up to $100,000 as long as they're located in the South, which includes Texas. They have a unique opportunity to access capital that is quite flexible. It's probably the most simple underwriting that they would have to experience in terms of being able to access that level of capital. And it's intended to really support businesses that are looking to recover. They're working in this new normal and figuring out what makes sense for them. And so those are like the sort of main pieces that we have in terms of our access, right? We're focused on community, we're focused on that individualized support, and money, making sure that folks have access to the capital that they need. And by the way, as a part of our support for small businesses in the pandemic, TrueFund has actually lent over $50 million through the Paycheck Protection Program. We're very, very proud of that. Over $5 million of that was in Texas specifically.
Oh, wow. Wow. Suzanne, can you talk about upcoming events and coaching that you do over at Scores?
Sure. I'll mention a couple of things. One I wanted to tell you about is the SCORE advisory boards, and not all SCORE chapters have that, but we do at the Fort Worth chapter. This is not like a board of directors. It's where our most highly experienced certified mentors meet with a client and help them with business strategies and challenges. They really become a part of that company's team, and they'll meet like quarterly. And it's a really good resource for established businesses to tap into expertise of other business owners. Then there is an event we have coming up that I would love to tell you about. We have a women's forum coming up on September 16th. And we have an amazing group of speakers lined up to share information with the women who attend. So that would be another resource for people to connect not only with those speakers, but with the other women who attend those events. A lot of networking happens at that women's forum.
Nice. And bankers, Veritex bankers, they come and teach some of the classes too, from what I understand. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I think we had some more questions from the audience. Where do we sign up for the newsletter?
Oh, absolutely. So they can send me an email at lrenee@trufund.org, or they can go to our website at www.trufund.org. That's trufund.org. So we would be happy to connect and make sure that we're keeping those viewers who are here wanting to learn more informed. I want to give a little shout out to Veritex Bank and Erica and Courtney. We're really looking forward to a financial empowerment session that we're going to be hosting pretty soon in partnership with Veritex Bank. So be on the lookout for that. We'll certainly be sharing that with our up and coming newsletter to give you all the specific dates and times on that. So we are excited about helping entrepreneurs really understand their business structure and understand how that connects to their business taxes and how all of that connects to their ability to access capital.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, LaShondra. It's amazing. I know that you guys have heard a lot about Veritex Bank tonight, but if I could just really just brag on Veritex one more time. I love working for this bank, and you do see that community is in the name, and we really do care about the community and bringing the resources to you. If you want to hear any more about our bank or plug into our resources, please visit our website at www.veritexbank.com. And I didn't mention that we are a preferred lender with the SBA, and we're a top 10 SBA lender. And that is a great feat for Veritex Bank. And so what that means for you when you apply for an SBA loan is that you don't have to go and wait for the SBA to give you an answer. They trust Veritex to give you an answer. And that's one thing that we're known for is our speed. in processing. And so even with all those documents that you have to turn in, and to have us known for our speed and processing so many loan applications, I really, I think that that's a great thing about Veritex, in addition to the community and the truth in Texas.
Indeed. Let's get to this final question before we end class this evening. How do you go from a business idea to a plan to a business?
Well, you plug into the resources. So if anybody comes to me with an idea, I tell them, have you done a business plan? So you've got to plug into the resources like SCORE, like True Fund. Do you have a mentor? Have you done the written plan? And then doing the plan to creation is usually has capital involved. So if it doesn't, then maybe you have a friend or an uncle, rich uncle, that left you some money somewhere. But if it doesn't, then you have maybe, hopefully, a banker here that can pour into you, like Veritex Bank. And if not, then get a mentor and get somebody that can show you the way, somebody that's been there and done that and that wants to give back. That would be my advice.
For sure. Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that?
I'll just agree with Erica that you start with the business plan. That's your roadmap for starting your business, but it's also your way to test your idea as you go through it and make sure that it's viable.
Indeed. Any final remarks, ladies, for our viewing audience, where they can reach out to you for more of these resources that you all provided? Just some final last-minute thoughts that they can take with them before they go on about their evening. We'll start with you, Erica.
I will go ahead and give my email. It's Hearst, so just my name up here, at veritexbank.com. And I just want to thank you so much, KG and Magic 102.1, for having us here. It really has been a joy being here all these weeks.
Oh, well, you are more than welcome. Thank you all for having me. I mean, I was really, I was honored that, you all chose me for this series. So thank you.
Sure.
LaShonda.
Yes.
Just some final remarks.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for having us. This has been a lot of fun. I look forward to the next opportunities to connect with each of you, as well as our viewers and listeners. I'd just like to leave maybe a few nuggets. One is clarity. So being really clear about who you are as an entrepreneur and what problem your business is solving. And when you're accessing capital, what that capital is going to actually do for your business strategically. And understanding that accessing capital is not just about having access to dollars, it's really access to the potential that those dollars open up. So how do the dollars that you are taking out, how do they really help to grow your business and move that business along to achieve its goals? If you can really articulate that, whether it's working with a small business lender through True Fund, or whether it's working with our colleagues over at Veritex or other banking institutions, you really want to be able to be clear about that. If you can articulate those things well and you can provide the documentation to support that, then you are really in a good place and should be able to access the capital that you need. And for those of you who have been impacted by the pandemic, which I presume is all of you, and that are looking for resources to really stabilize your business, and or you're ready for growth, or you really identified some opportunities to pivot in this new normal, in this pandemic, please do connect with True Fund. We would love to include you in our business education resources that we offer, as well as connect with you on what your capital need is. Maybe you're not quite ready to take out a loan with Veritex, but you may be able to take out a loan with True Fund. So we'd love to have a sense of where you are with your business. If you've been in business at least a year and you have generated business revenue, we certainly can look at where you are and what you need.
Indeed. And Ms. Suzanne Dick of SCORE Mentor.
I would just like to invite anyone who needs a mentor to contact SCORE. Just go to score.org and put in a little bit of information, and they'll connect you with the SCORE chapter that's closest to you. You'll be able to access all of the free resources. And then if you want to see what's happening locally in the city where you live, just put Fort Worth or Dallas in front of that, and you'll get to the local one. For example, we're fortworth.score.org. We'd love to help you out.
Indeed, man. Thank you, Erica Hirsch, the SVP and SBA at Veritex Community Bank. Also, thank you to LaShonda Pickett-Renee, Managing Director for Texas True Fund, and of course, Susan Dick, the Certified Mentor for SCORE. Ladies, thank you all so much. What a great way to end our summer school sessions presented by Veritex Community Bank. I want to thank you all so much for tapping in. Thank you to the audience that have been tapping in all 4 weeks throughout this entire session. And in case you missed any of the other sessions on building credit, on buying your home, or women in business, as well as this one, maybe you caught the end, you can go back to it on our Facebook and YouTube channels. All of the brands that are on 97.9 The Beat in Dallas, Magic 94.5 in Dallas, Magic 102.1 here in Houston. Let me get that right. And 97.9 The Box here in Houston as well. You can always go back and get the scholarship from the panels that we had each week. So thank you, ladies, and a big thank you to the people over at Veritex Community Bank. Right there on at 59 and Greenbrier, right there on the corner of Greenbrier and 59. I see the line. I was like, oh, there they go. They sitting right there. I didn't even know you guys were there. So thank you, ladies. Thank you, Veritex Community Bank. But more importantly, thank you to the listeners and the viewers that are watching. We will see you soon. We will see you soon, because this is something that this information and the knowledge that is being shared is vital. And so this is something that we're committed to when it comes to education and in the community. So thank you all. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you on the radio.
When you look for a bank, choose a partner with local expertise and local decision making. Veritex Community Bank offers solutions and a true business ally.